addressing exactly the difficulties you mentioned before. And one of the persons in charge is for sure Madame Francoise, the UN resident and the coordinator of the United Nations again.
Dobar dan. Drago mi je što sam ovdje danas, ali govorim samo malo srpski, so I will continue in English, if it's okay with you. It's really great to hear all these different perspectives, and I will focus my speech today on people and multilateralism. We started the year at the UN with lots of great plans to celebrate UN75. We wanted really to explore the future together, to celebrate through, among other things, an online consultation, as we did a few years ago to develop the Agenda 2030. So we launched this survey in January, globally and here in Serbia. And initially, inequalities, gender and climate change were the hot topics. Then came COVID. So as you can imagine, the topic changed to making sure that we had an equitable access to health. But there was an unexpected outsider in the context of a general public survey. And the survey showed that 87% of the people surveyed believed that collaboration between countries, solidarity between people, to resolve global challenges, among which the current pandemic, was a very important aspect to consider for the future. So this is a very strong message for us. 6 in 10 respondents believe that the UN had made the world a better place. Looking in the future, 74% of the respondents see the UN as essential in tackling global challenges. So the global report is being released today, and you will all receive a copy, of course. So I have 3 points today, and this is my first point. Multilateralism is not only about the Security Council. It's not only about high-level politics. It's about people. And it's how people see the challenges of globalization, security, and sustainable development should be dealt with. We have seen in the past few years that when countries decide to move away from coalitions, this was mentioned before, move away from rule-based order, they create anxiety, chaos, and suffering. We have seen that when states decide to pull away from international agreements, their citizens, their cities, their regions reach out to remain committed to such agreements. In the context of COVID, global cooperation, despite the many rumors at the beginning, has demonstrated once again its value in pulling resources and solutions together. And my colleague from WHO will talk about this later. Of course, there are persistent challenges, but the response to the pandemic, which is still unraveling, has shown that global cooperation today is about mutual responsibility and shared accountability between countries, between citizens and their states, and between generations. So, as the UN Secretary General said, and Simona also mentioned, we need a more inclusive multilateralism, drawing on the contributions of civil society, businesses, cities, and with a great weight given to the youth. Now, my second point, predictably, is on global cooperation, multilateralism, and gender. Yes, we have made progress in some regions, in many countries, on gender equality and gender employment, but not enough. We need more women leaders at the helm of countries, in international organizations, in global companies, think tanks, universities, and including in this room, in the panel speakers. Today, only 10% of heads of state are women. The barriers to women participation are often invisible, underpinned by gender stereotype, cultural practice, and long-standing structural inequalities. And on this note, I also want to remind all of us that 2020 is the 20th anniversary of Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. That resolution stresses the role of women in the prevention and resolution of conflict and in peace building. It underlines the importance of women having the opportunity for equal participation and full involvement in all efforts to promote peace and security, as well as the need to increase their role in decision-making at all levels. And in that respect, I was very happy to see the results of the parliamentary election this year in Serbia, where we now have 38.8% of MPs, I think this is the correct percentage, that are women. It's still short of the 40% that was the objective, but it's better than the 30% that was the previous percentage. One more point on the gender topic. You're all aware of the narrative that countries led by women, such as Germany, Finland, New Zealand, Norway, Taiwan, may have managed the COVID crisis better. It's too early to see which countries have really fared better, and maybe it's not, there is no point. But the past 6 months have highlighted a different approach to risk management, communication, and leadership style. And this is being documented now between men and women leaders. Women leaders seem to have been significantly more risk-averse when it comes to human life and more risk-taking when it comes to the economy. Let's mix both so that we have a better world. My third point, and it's my last point, is on the nexus between climate change, international security, and global cooperation. I'm going to skip the multi word. It's now clearly established and accepted, including by military institutions, that climate change, abusive exploitation and destruction of natural resources, pollution, have become root cause of extreme and extended tensions between communities, between people, and between states. It's not a coincidence that many conflicted, affected countries are also badly hit by climate change and competition for natural resources, particularly around water and energy. We know very well that a large share of the migrants and refugees that are on the islands in Greece and on the shores, the various shores of Europe, are climate migrants. So it's therefore imperative to dedicate much larger resources in money, time, efforts, capacities to fighting this complex issue of climate change, both locally and regionally. Technology and solution exist, I keep saying this. Financial resources exist. So now it's primarily a question of political vision, of political will, of allocation of efforts, of close and intelligent coordination between partners to make this fight a successful one, including here in Serbia. On that topic, I can only urge for a greater and tighter cooperation between the UN, the EU, other member states, and the government of Serbia. And the Green Deal is a perfect start for that. Let's make every infrastructure investment a step towards a greener economy. Let's solve the air pollution problem this winter and next winter, not in 5 years, not in 10 years. Let's remember that this is what the people want, and this is what we need to stay healthy. To conclude, I'm asking all of you to share messages of hope, optimism, and visions that call for action together. We are going through a crazy time, and it's really easy to indulge in catastrophism, in cynicism, and in blaming others. We need to remember, and I always say that because sometimes I think we do remember, including in the UN, we need to remember our fundamental principles and values that define the Charter of the United Nations. Peace and human rights is our most precious value. Well-being of the people is our most precious asset. A healthy planet is our most precious resource. It does not matter that we have different ways of looking at life, different ambitions, different understandings. We must work better together and achieve this beautiful Agenda 2030. it's in this spirit that the UN in Serbia will work with you, all of you, in the years to come, to galvanize global cooperation. And as my boss, Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, let's go for multilateralism with more teeth, more scale, and more ambition. Bye.
Since the beginning, it's the very first time we're speaking about people. And that the UN actually, it's very nice for the states, yeah, to regulate the relations with the people. By the end of the day, that is fundamental reason why we exist. And what you say is quite fundamental, and I would say it's forgotten by the previous speakers, because everybody is doing his part. But actually, you introduce a word to talk about human security, you're referring to the people and to their real existence. So thank you very much, Madam, for this enlightenment focus on humans and not just on states and governments.